New York, the East Coast, the West Coast, the Midwest, and all around the globe. So however you're tuning in, thank you for being with us on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, and on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. We have an awesome show set up for you inside of monpozpopcorn.com's What's Poppin'. We'll start off the broadcast with Symir Torrence, who is no stranger to the show. Him and I spoke when he was coming into Syracuse. It was within a couple days of him making his decision. I remember exactly where I was when I made the phone call and all the excitement I had for this. And now even more excited about this final collegiate chapter as he's going to be heading down 81 to Binghamton. So I'm a Torrance family fan. I think they all know that. So we're going to have some fun with Cy today in just a moment and speak about Binghamton, his journey, and his love for basketball in general. Then in hour number 2, I'll be joined by two coaches that I've known for a long time. Met them when they were at Syracuse coaching under Scott Schaefer for the football program. Joe Adams, St. Anselm head coach for their football team, joins me today to speak on building success, faith, as well as remembering our friend Fred Reed, who passed away on Mother's Day just a bit ago. And it seems like forever ago, and at the same time it feels like yesterday. So we'll talk about remembering Fred Reed, and Bobby Acosta will be joining me as well, University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, and he is now their offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. We'll speak on his new opportunity and remembering Fred Reed through his eyes and his heart as well. So a lot of great stuff coming up here on Wake Up Call inside of monpozpopcorn.com's What's Poppin'. The first thing up is Symir Torrence here with me, picture in picture. Cy, how we doing?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing well, man. And I told everybody I saw the hair all twisted up right and everything on social media. So you're feeling good this morning, looking good. How's
Yeah,
everything? You being all right?
yeah. Workout's good. Everything's good. Got to look good to play good, and so I'm doing good.
So I want to go back to the journey here, because the journey began with you committing to Marquette and going there for a couple of years, and then Syracuse for a couple of years. So we've gotten to see you in a couple different places. When you go back to that time at Marquette, what did you learn from your experience there that you're going to be using at Binghamton?
Yeah. Just learned a bigger role as a veteran. I was around a lot of veteran guys when I was at Marquette, and they kind of just showed me the way of how to do things when you're older. The preparation heading into a game, and just the focus that they had going into their last season. So I thought that really helped me mentally and physically on showing me what I needed to do down the line if it came to that, which it did. So I think it's going to prepare me for this last season.
And you made that decision to come home, and you and I, as I said before, we spoke right after you had made that decision to come back to Syracuse. 2 seasons at Syracuse and everything that you went through there, the ebb and flow, the ups and downs and whatnot. What were your takeaways of your time at Syracuse?
Yeah, awesome time. Never want to regret a decision because there's so much that goes into it. There's so many people that you meet. There's so many things that you do that you thought you might do. So my 2 years at Syracuse was nothing but just me having the gratefulness and the ability to pay for a Hall of Fame coach, the ability to play with long-term friends, Buddy Boeheim and Jimmy Boeheim and Joe Girard. So grateful for all those opportunities, but at the same time, the time is now. I've been hearing a lot of people say it. I deserve more, and I'm looking for that opportunity. And Syracuse has given me the ability off and on the court to have that opportunity, and now I'm getting a bigger opportunity at Binghamton.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, Syracuse, with the things that you got to do there and the coach that you got to play for, what did you take away from Coach Boeheim? Because it's kind of two-part. What did you take away from having Coach Boeheim there as your leader? And then secondly, what are your thoughts on the fact that you were the last team that he coached?
Yeah, kind of hard to just to talk about, just because I didn't want to see him go out like that. Especially, I would have loved to see him go out at least in the tournament. But it is what it is. His legacy speaks for itself. He's nothing but a great coach. He's been coaching great players since he came into the coaching the game. But I take away nothing. I take away everything that Coach Boeheim does, even off the court. He's a greater man than he is a coach. He's very funny. He loves to talk about basketball. His memory is ridiculous. He can remember things that I probably couldn't even remember if I was his age. But yeah, just just truly grateful just to be coached by a Hall of Famer coach. He's nothing but family to me, just because of my relationship with Buddy and Jimmy. So yeah, I'm truly grateful to be coached by Coach Behind.
Was there anything like you said? I mean, and his personality, which a lot of people don't get to know. That comedy side of it. When you describe him as funny, what is it about him that is that? Like, describe his comedy.
Well, yeah, yeah, he's just himself. Like he never tries to be anything else. Um, he's very much himself, and I think that's why he's funny. Um, he might not think he's funny, but other people know he's funny. Uh, it's just yeah, he just kind of has that young, and I don't want to say old, but he has that mentality to put it together and make a group laugh. Like I say, he's like very entertaining. People love to watch his post and press conferences for a reason, and it's rightfully so, because of the coach he is, but also because of what he brings off the court and into the media.
The coaches that you've had, including Coach B, how have they, and if you want to talk about them specifically and something that they did, how have they made you prepared for the moment that you have at Binghamton?
Yeah, I thought with the role and the time that I had with at Syracuse, I thought Coach Boeheim really pushed me to be the best player that I could be in that role.
Yeah.
And that's all I can respect uh, out of him. He really wanted me to be that A+ guy in that role, and hopefully in his eyes that I did that. Um, but yeah, he pushed me every day in practice. Pushed me every day in the game, during the locker room, on to be a better point guard, to be better vocally, even when things weren't going my way. So I'm truly grateful for that. Coach GMAC, um, with his preparation for me and the guards on what to do during that next game and that game coming up was very high intelligent. Just because he GMAC does a lot of film on other guards and especially our guards, but the main focus at Syracuse is playing our basketball, Syracuse basketball, and I thought we did that extremely well. We just couldn't get wins, but at the same time, I was really pleased with how we played because we played hard. We played together at times, but GMAC did a phenomenal job for the guards, just preparing us and well pushed situations that we were going to be in during the game, and it came out just like that. Talking about Coach Autry and Coach Griffin, I would like Syracuse practices are a little bit different than probably anybody else's. We do groups, and GMAC has the guards, Coach Autry has the forwards, and Coach Griffin he has the bigs. But when it's time to come together, all three of these coaches do a phenomenal job of coaching us and getting us prepared for the game, whether it's a scrimmage or whether it's the actual game. But they all do a phenomenal job with the scout. They all do a phenomenal job preparing us with preparation and having us well handled before the game.
In that transition, like you said, of playing for a Hall of Fame coach in Jim Boeheim, and him going out, and I agree with you. The way that he went out, I mean, should have been different and should have been better. So he goes out. Does that push you to go into the transfer portal, or were you already kind of thinking to yourself, hey, I still feel like my role needs to be this, and I got to find this somewhere else?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the goal was never to transfer. I always want to stay loyal, but at the same time, I want to do what's best for me. And during that time, I just really wanted to finish the season strong. I didn't want to finish it the way we finished it, but it is what it is. And It wasn't because Coach Boeheim wasn't there, and if he was there, I don't think the decision would be different. I just thought all the coaches thought in my best interest that it was best for me to find a home where I can be the player that everyone dreams of me being. Just because of my work ethic and what I deserve. All the coaches came to a decision for me, and I thought it was really honest, and that's all I gotta ask for a coach. And they all gave me the respect that I deserved, and I appreciate every single one of them. That uh, from here on out, I'm definitely gonna remember it. We still stay in contact to this day. I still see Coach Beheim every now and then, just because I'm friends with Buddy and Jimmy. I still talk to Coach DMAC on a daily basis. So those relationships are never gonna lose the respect that they had over time. So just truly grateful for just to be a part of that program and to be actually be a graduate too as well.
Here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora with Symir Torrence, speaking on his journey and ultimately transferring, making that decision to come to the Binghamton Bearcats. You said you speak with GMAC all the time. What do you take from him, and what's it been like to be coached by a guard who won a national championship?
Yeah, for sure. I think the number one thing is his competitive nature. GMAC goes into every every practice, every day with a good mentality. Like I want to get better, and we have to get better. So I respected that out of him. Great father, great big brother to me. He always has been there in any situation. So just truly grateful for that. And I took just a lot of things out of his book. So appreciate you, G-Man.
Si, when you and I spoke a few years ago, you told me, I want to play point guard. I'm here to be a guard. I want to be a floor general. I want to look for everybody else's shot before my own. You told me that. Do you feel like that is what you're going to get at Binghamton? That role in this final season? I know you got to go to practice. I know you got to earn your keep. But do you feel like that role is that who you still want to be? Do you want to be the guy who's running the orchestra? Do you want to be the conductor still?
Yeah, for sure. That does play a big part, but my role would probably be a little bit different. At Binghamton, just because of my size and my IQ and my ability to kind of see the floor and see the plays ahead of what's ahead. I think I'm more of a scorer in this league, um, and I'm just gonna show that more of an all around player in this league. I feel like I can score at all three levels. I feel like I can do a lot more other things that can affect the game at a high level, which is playing defense and getting others involved, like you said. Um, I'm very good at just picking out the defense and what they're doing and seeing what's ahead. Yeah, just bringing that that veteran IQ to the game. And my role is it's not going to be much different than it was at Syracuse and Marquette, but definitely a much bigger role as far as me scoring, putting the ball in the basket, and winning games because I'm going to be playing a lot.
What do we not know about Symir Torrence that we're going to get to know this season?
Yeah, I think uh, I think I'm more of a patient player. I don't really rush anything unless like the shot clock's going down and you have to get up a shot. But I'm really a player that lets a game come to him in any situation. It doesn't matter who we're playing. I like to fill out what's going on and who's doing what and what's going on. Obviously, sometimes that might be me having to take over a little bit earlier in the game, but I'll figure that out. That's what basketball is, and um, but it, but yeah, I'm a patient player. I like the game come to me, and as the game goes on, I naturally just get better. And two games that people remember the most out of me is the tournament, the ACC tournament run in the Barclays Center versus Florida State and Duke. And if you really watch that game, every single minute that I played, I've naturally gotten better and picked out the defense and saw what they were doing and really just just blew it up.
You know, you mentioned those games, and I think it's interesting and kind of funny, poetic that you mentioned those two, because if you asked me the two games that I thought were your best at Syracuse, it were those games at the ACC tournament and the Barclays, not this season but the season before. And when it was because you were playing point guard and Joe was playing shooting guard, and so Joe was back in position, and here you are in the right position. And I said that. I said arguably, and I still said to this day, and I might have mentioned this within the last couple of weeks, I said those were the best two games that Syracuse played that season. The entire season, I thought that those were your best two games. And you
Yeah, for
played the
sure.
Duke game without Buddy, and yet here you were within striking distance of beating them. And I can say this. Well, you could probably say it now, but a couple questionable foul calls away from getting a victory. So but I think it's really interesting that you bring up those two games, because those are the two that I thought were your best as well. Why do you feel like those were the games that really showcased you? Because you looked comfortable. It looked like coming off of those two games. Okay, next season, let's see Cy do more of this. Let's see him run the floor. Let's see Joe play shooting guard. It just seemed like it was leading to something. So why do you feel like those are your best two?
For sure. I don't know if people remember this, but I I didn't play the. It was a game before that, and I got I got out the game when we played Duke. I had a concussion. So actually, it was two games. I didn't play North Carolina. I had North Carolina, and then I didn't play senior night when we played Miami. So I was out for two games with a concussion. And going into actually, I didn't think I was going to play. Um, Honestly, and if I would to go back, I didn't want to, just because I was just afraid of getting hit in my head again. But came to a conclusion that I was going to play, so my mind was kind of different than any other game, because if I made a mistake, I kind of you can't yell at me because I just came out of a concussion. So I thought I had the more of a freedom to kind of make a mistake and not worry about my mistake. And that was kind of a refreshing for me because of my concussion. But going into those two games, I had nothing but excitement, just because I hadn't played in two games, and um, the teams didn't know what to expect from me. But I knew what I could bring to the table. And the Florida State game, if I remember, I had 9 assists, um, 9 points, and around the same amount of rebounds, probably like 6 or 8, something like that. But the Florida State's a kind of team that presses the whole game. They try to make you uncomfortable. They're very long and athletic athletes. So my speed was really really useful in that game. And getting away from traps and kind of getting downhill and seeing the floor. And that was kind of the similar game as to Duke. So that Florida State game kind of prepared me for the Duke game, because it wasn't much different. It was me creating for others and seeing what I can get in the paint. And that's what I did. So though that Florida State game really prepared me for the Duke game, even though I didn't know I was going to be a starter in the Duke game.
Yeah, we look at you against Florida State, like you mentioned, at 9 points, 9 assists. Against Duke, just shy of a triple double in that, from points, assists, and rebounds as well, in that 88-79 loss without Buddy Boeheim. But how well I think, and it was a team coming together. You said that there were times this season that the team didn't always play together this past season at Syracuse 2022-23, but there were times when they did. What was the disconnect? Was it so many new faces, all fresh, all these freshmen coming in? I mean, what was not kind of clicking? Because there were times where we saw you and Judah Mintz on the floor at the same time, then at different times. So what was going on in your opinion?
Uh, I mean, you can say it's new faces. You can say, hey, they're a very young team, but I'm not a guy that likes to make excuses. Yeah, we're young. Yeah, it's new faces, but we had all summer to play with each other and to get it right. And I thought middle of the season, I think we had a good feel for each other, and we were kind of playing our best basketball in the middle of the season. And I remember it was like maybe probably beginning of the ACC play. teams were scared to play us uh just because of our 2-3 being effective and at the time and just us uh playing together and the willing to keep fighting when we're down. We had some crazy games where we were down and kind of almost came back and won the game. The pig game at home is one of the big ones. I think we could have had that one, but we didn't. We were down a lot of points and then came within striking distance. So it was all just I think it was just at the end of the game. Preparation, staying calm, uh, just going back to our natural habits. I felt like a lot of shots at the end of the game when they were close were rushed or executed as well as we thought. Coach kind of put some great plays for us to execute. I didn't think we executed them well. I think we tried to, but we just didn't. And that happens sometimes. Uh, but at the same time, I really am proud of the fight that we brought, even though it wasn't the season that everybody hoped for.
You talked about executing plays. There's been a lot of times that it seems like there's not a set play for Syracuse, and it was kind of just somebody who gets open, takes a shot. So bring me from the inside out. Were there a set group of plays that were to be run? Because I'm just speaking from my side, so I didn't see it. So I'm just asking.
Um, to be selfish a little bit, when I'm in a game, there's always a play that goes into getting the best shot. And that's just me. That's what I'm on the floor for, and I thought I did a good job at that. Yes. To answer your question, yes. We had a lot of plays for Jesse and Joe, and they got a lot of good looks. Also had a lot of plays for Judah and our wings, Chris Bell and Justin Taylor when he was in the game. And then we had some plays for Benny when he got going. So yeah, we had a lot of plays. Probably could have executed them a lot better than what we did. I think the young side definitely got to us a little bit just because of uh, the what do you say it the experience. Kind of don't know what you're getting when you're coming in your freshman year. Kind of nervous. You thinking about a lot of things. You're anxious. So yeah.
Jesse Edwards is at West Virginia, longtime rival of Syracuse.
Yeah.
Joe Girard is still wearing orange, but for Clemson, and could be coming into the dome on the other side. How do you feel about your guys? Because you're going to be in Binghamton, and I got people asking me on the feed here, can Binghamton play Syracuse this season? So
I would love it. I would love it, but I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna happen.
I would love it too. So I think if Joe comes to the dome, he's going to put up 30. That's just me. That's my prediction. But because I know Joe's got a little chip on his shoulder. But speak with me on Jesse and on Joe because they transfer to different places. Jesse, over 2 years ago, I was talking to people about Jesse, and I joke with him all the time that now people like Jesse, but I like Jesse before people were giving Jesse credit. Joe
Yeah,
and I talk all the time about how he's kind of gotten treated like Trevor Cooney, where you get booed at home, you get cheered at home. So I mean, these guys have seen the love, not seen the love. What can you tell me about Jesse? What's he bringing to West Virginia? And is Joe Girard going to drop 30 in the dome? That's all I want to know.
um, just to start, congratulations to those two guys, my guys. But he's gonna bring what he really brought to Syracuse, but a little more. He's probably gonna be playing man. I'm expecting at West Virginia. Um, rim protecting, the ability to score with both hands in the paint when he gets it. He's really good when he really sets a screen and rolls. I think he is one of the best bigs at that, just because of his size and his speed and length. Um, So I think he's going to bring a lot to the table. I think West Virginia definitely got a steal. I think they're going to be they're in the Big 12, right? Yeah, Big 12 contenders in their tournament, and then I think they're going to make it to the tournament. So really excited for him and his success. And he's also playing with a former player of mine, Jose Perez, that I played with at Marquette. So excited to see those two play with each other. As far as Joe, I knew this was gonna happen too. Um, I told him when we had the Julian Jim and Julie Foundation. I said, Joe, if you go to Clemson, I'll be at the game, no matter what. So I'm gonna be excited for that game. Man, I'm kind of thinking on how it's gonna go. Is he gonna get booed? Is he gonna get
Yeah.
a bunch of love? I think it'll be in the middle.
Yeah.
But yeah, really excited. Clemson got a steal as well. Um, Joe's a natural worker. Uh, he just never stops. That's what I like about Joe. He's always gonna keep going. Um, I think our relationship throughout the years has really just gotten stronger and stronger. From AAU days to now. Just really appreciate him and everything he's done for me off the court and on the court. Um, yeah, he's gonna do numbers at Clemson. I can't wait. I feel like he fits their program as well too. Um, Shooting guard, uh, he can play point. Uh, just can shoot the lights out, spread the floor. I think his teammates are going to be happy to play with him because it's just going to open up more opportunities for others. Just because people are so worried about his shooting. So
Why do you think he went through all that, like, love hate? I mean, is that just, what comes at Syracuse? Is that what
yeah,
comes with a guy that can put up? You said yeah, so I'm gonna stop there.
yeah.
So,
The Syracuse fans they're hard on their players, as they should be. He got the love hate of it. They were wrong at a lot of times because I thought he played a phenomenal 4 years here at Syracuse. I thought he helped win a lot of games here. So I think he deserves more respect than what he's gotten. Um, they're fans at the end of the day, so they can do whatever they want. Um, but can't discredit Joe for what he's done for Syracuse for the 4 years. Uh, and he's handled it extremely well.
yeah,
He didn't feed into it. When he had a bad game, he didn't really care. He was just focused on winning the next game. And that's what I respected. Because I don't think a lot of players can handle that, especially because it's kind of his home team too. He's only 2 hours away.
yeah.
So uh, for him to get that love and hate relationship, I kind of felt for him at times. But then whenever I would feel bad for him, he would just show me like, hey, it's all right. Like I'm gonna get 28 next game. So uh, I
Yeah,
respected Joe for that.
I remember something he said to me where I asked him about that kind of love hate because and you're a very I've covered a lot of people over a long period of time, almost 20 years of broadcasting, started when I was going into college, over 4,000 people on the show, and I can put you in a group of probably the most like real. Like if you don't want to talk to someone in the locker room, I can look at your face and go, yeah, you don't want to talk to that person. And
Yeah.
so, I mean,
Okay.
you can tell, you kind of wear it, you wear it on your sleeve and you show it when you're frustrated, you'll talk about it. And I give credit to Benny for that too, something that Benny said to me this season. But Joe, when I went over to Joe, we were talking one game because when you guys do well, and if you had a big game, the media, I call it the beehive. The beehive attacks, and then if you have 3 points, the beehive backs off. Well, you and I talked when you had 2 minutes in the game or 20 minutes in the game. It didn't matter. If I wanted to talk to you, I talk with you. So with Joe, I kind of it's the same thing. He's got 30 people. He's got 2 people. So I asked him about, kind of how he handles all that and just what his thoughts were. He said, I don't, I don't, and how like, getting booed and all that. He said, I don't read into it. I don't care about it. It doesn't bother me. He said, every once in a while, I will go read something just so I can get a laugh. And I was
Yeah,
like, damn. So, I mean, is he really that mentally strong?
yeah, for sure. I think we all are. Especially our veterans, me, Jesse, Bull, and Joe,
Yeah.
just because we went through a lot. We kind of seen it all in a way. So nothing new is gonna determine or affect us in any kind of way. But like Joe said, like sometimes you just gotta laugh. Like hey, like
Yeah.
it is what it is. I'm still human. I make mistakes. I'm gonna keep moving forward. Because that's what it's all about at the end of the day. People have bad days. Well, I shouldn't say bad days. They have bad moments.
Yeah.
You really don't have a whole bad day. Um, and it's all about what you do after that moment that you have. That's not it's not good or great. So,
So I want to get to Binghamton before I let you go. Symir Torrence here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We spoke a little bit about Binghamton, but I got to ask you. A couple days ago, Lavelle Sanders, the head coach, came on the show. He's been on the show pretty much since he came into Binghamton, and he told me that he recruited you in the beginning, and you big timed him a little bit, and then he recruited you again, and you big timed him again. He said eventually he got back to my call, but I wanna hear your side of the story.
yeah, that was definitely my fault. That first day was crazy, kind of crazy. I didn't expect to get that many calls. Um, Not saying it as an excuse, but I definitely missed his call. If I would have saw it, I would have definitely called back sooner. But definitely not big time. But that's kind of funny.
So
But here, I'm here now, so that's
so
all that matters.
so you talking about the first day this time around with the transfer portal? You got calls immediately.
Yeah, I didn't think there were going to be that many, but there were. There were a lot of options. Just truly grateful for that. So.
So why Binghamton? Why was going an hour on I-81 south the right thing for you?
People just really think about my journey, my 2 years at Marquette, my 2 years at Syracuse. Uh, I've had probably no more than five actual games of me playing basketball or of me being the player that some people know I am and others hope to see in the future. And that's all it was. Picking the school that was gonna give me the light that I deserved, and Binghamton was the right fit for it. Obviously, there was other schools that came into the mix, but I thought Binghamton was the best decision for me, off and on the court. I keep hearing that Binghamton's a great school, and again, education or a grad degree from there is big time. So, really excited for that. And on top of that, the coaching staff, the just the environment. I know I'm gonna have a bunch of Syracuse fans come over to be Binghamton's fans for me, and I'm just truly grateful for that. So it's not that far from home. I get to steal some Syracuse fans. I get to be the player that I want to be, and I get to be around a lot of young coaches that have a lot of experience, whether that's overseas or them playing high level college basketball when they were players. So I'm kind of getting all of the above, the whole package of uh, of just a great opportunity, that's on the court and off the court. So I'm just excited. But um, this decision really came down to trust and what what program and what team is best for me on the court. It was an on the court decision. And then after finding out that Binghamton was a great school, it became off the court decision as well. So
Was there anybody that was hard to say no to in this process? Did it come down to a tight scenario, or was Binghamton kind of just leading?
yeah, there's like I said, there's a lot of other teams that were fighting hard to get me. U Albany, go back to Coach Dwayne Killens. He coached me at Marquette, so we have that. We always have that relationship. I still talk to him to this day. Um, our relationship is never going to change, no matter if I would have went there or that. Now that I'm not, it's not going to change. I'm actually going to be playing against him this year, so it should be fun. Even though he probably that's probably not what he'd hoped for, but it is what it is. But U Albany, Siena with Coach Carm, I have that relationship as well. Since I was little, he's a City Rock guy, so that connection has always been there. Quinnipiac was heavy. They just lost their head coach, so congrats to him on his next opportunity at Villanova. Um, Bowling Green was really hard to say no to, because I thought if any other school was as close to Binghamton, it was Bowling Green. I give that staff and that program a lot of respect, because I know whatever they have, they're going to work with it and they're going to do good. Um, Todd Simon is with with the time that I spent with him and the research that I've done on him is nothing but a phenomenal guy and a great coach. He has a lot of similar philosophies that I've had in playing. So I respect him and his thoughts. So I would say Bowling Green was probably the hardest decision to say no to, just because I saw myself in that program. I've actually pictured myself in that uniform. So that was the closest school, but I'm excited to be at Binghamton.
So you're gonna be a Bearcat coming out there. Lavelle Sanders, what do you like about him? What was it about his selling point, his message? What sold you? You said it was all about trust. So why do you trust Lavelle and his staff?
Yeah, he's we've had a lot of conversations. We still do on just the opportunity. We want to make sure this is right. It is my last year, but I don't want to think about it as my last year. Still want to go into it as it's just another year. Just got to work a little bit harder, or even more harder than I've been. But yeah, just his thoughts. He's been around the game for a long time, and part of that was being overseas. And I took a lot of his words into my own, as far as just his philosophy for the game and whether whatever players that we have we're going to work around and him letting me be able to be the player that I am. I think he trusts me. I think we're to not to say anything about what we're going to be doing, but I think we're going to post me up. I haven't posted up since high school because I am naturally bigger than most other point guards. So I'm just excited for that. So that's just some of the things that he just hasn't planned for me. So I'm just excited to work with him and the staff as well. They're good guys. Always crack jokes, but they work at the end of the day. They want to get better, and that's the type of program I want to go into.
You came back home to Syracuse, and now you're going to Binghamton. Do you feel like your story at this point? I mean, when you came home and because we had talked about it, that people didn't think you could play at Syracuse and this, that, whatever, and you proved that you could come to the program and be a part of the program and give something to the program. Are you still on that like avenge tour, or is that gone? Is it totally different now? Because I mean, I know you and I have spoken about it, but I talk about you all the time, and so your ears better be ringing, Cy. And the reason why I talk about you all the time is because I feel like there was so much we didn't see that wasn't your fault. And I feel like we should have saw it. And I feel like the team would have been better because of it. Not to take away from anybody else, but there's something about your game. There's something about the way you play. Syracuse hasn't had a true point guard in a really long time, and I felt like you could bring that there. So when you came home, you were on a mission. What's the mission now?
I think the biggest thing in my head is to prove myself right. Uh, Over all these years of playing basketball, I've always wanted to prove others wrong, and never really thought about what did I want. Um, and I think this year is just proving myself right. Right now, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. I played at two high major level programs that people thought I couldn't play at. Played probably the best role that I can play in that situation. I don't think um, probably any other athlete, if they were in that role, could do what I do um, with the times that I've gotten. So um, just just believing in myself, proving myself right, and keeping my head forward, and thanking all the people that have helped along this way. Um, so yeah.
I love that. Instead of proving people wrong, proving yourself right. That's a daily thing for me as well. We got a question that came in, and it was also a thought on my head, a kind of perfect timing. How well do you know the roster at Binghamton?
Yeah, not super well, but obviously I'm on the team, so I have to know a little bit about it. We have a lot of talented transfers, talented freshmen. I'm not gonna see too much because it is just gonna have to find out. I want people to come to the game and watch the game. So we have a talented team. It's gonna be in a mix of older and younger. But I think we have a, a hardworking group. Uh, I'm seeing all my guys when I check on my phone. They're always in the gym, and they're always working. So that's why I'm posting a lot as well. Because at the same time, even though we're on the same team, we also are still competing with each other on just making each other better and each and every day. And I feel like that's one of the ways that we're making each other better right now is seeing each other in the gym, and working hard to get to this season. As I'm definitely not letting my foot off the gas this season.
No, and you know what? And I've been down to the arena a bunch of times. That arena in Binghamton is very, very underrated. Like I feel like people don't know. That's a fun place to play, and there's a different feel to it. So I think when you're underneath those lights in Binghamton, you're gonna have some fun out there.
For sure. I can't wait. Seems like it's gonna feel like high school again, just because it's a small arena, um, and yeah, it's gonna feel like a little bit of high school again. So I'm excited.
And coming from Symir Torrence. Si, we're going to do this thing. You've been great about answering all my questions here this morning. So we're going to do something fun. It's called Rapid Fire. I'm going to go back and forth with you. We have not prepared anything. So he doesn't know what I'm going to ask. I don't know what he's going to ask. But here is your chance. I don't think you've ever had the opportunity. You could tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you've ever had the opportunity to interview somebody. So now you do. You get to interview me. I get to
Yeah, I
do.
think I think we did this last time.
Well, we did it in the beginning, yeah, a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
through Wake Up Call, that's the only time you've been allowed to ask questions. Every other time you're sitting at the podium having to answer them. So we're gonna rapid fire this thing. You and I will go back and forth for a few. You get to start. You can ask me whatever you want.
All right. What? Okay. Just because he's my favorite player. So Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
Um, where do you rank him in your top point guards of all time?
Top point guard of all time. That's tough because historically there's a lot of great guards. But I think so. Oscar Robertson, right, was a triple double machine, and Russell. See, I grew up on a lot of guys. I grew up on the glove. I grew up on Gary Payton. I'm a huge. I don't. You don't know this about me, but I am a huge Damon Stoudemire fan.
Ah, okay,
So, and now
okay.
now that he's at G Tech, I finally get to talk to him, which is crazy how God works. But I would
Yep.
say, I mean, listen, Russ. I think Russ is misunderstood And I think there's times where, he could be a little bit of a head case, and he could be a little bit of a, I don't want to call him detrimental to a team, but I think there was times where maybe he wanted the shot, Durant wanted the shot, whatever. Harden was there for a hot minute, but when they were all at Oklahoma City, I think Russ brings. I mean, when you can get a triple double at any point in your career, I think it says something about your ability to play, your ability to find guys, and your ability to find your own shot. So all time, I would have to sit back and really break down my list, but I mean, between him and Oscar being the triple double guys that they are, I mean, I feel like you can argue that he's in the top 10 all time. Maybe not my top 5, but top 10. Is that an okay answer?
That's an okay answer.
Okay.
He's in my top 5.
Okay.
He's in my top 5. He's 5.
He's
He's
5.
number 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, well, I'm intrigued now. So, who's the top 5?
Top 5 point guards, right?
Yep.
All right. So we got Steph. And then I won't do it in order because it's kind of hard. I'll go Steph, Magic. That third one. I'll go. Sheesh.
See, it's
I'll
hard.
go John Stockton.
Okay. I like that. I like that.
Um, and fourth, I'll go. Hmm.
See how hard it is?
Maybe I'll put Russ at my 4.
Okay.
I just don't see anybody like people say stat pads and all that, but like even if so, to do that for the whole season is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Uh,
I will tell you that when people have kind of talked about him being like detrimental and this and that, I don't think the first thing I thought of was he's not Kyrie. Like
yeah,
Kyrie just seems like it's just a problem. But with Russ, it seems like he can still make a team better, which I don't know if that's necessarily the fact with Kyrie.
yeah, for sure. So I'll probably put him at 4, and I had to think about that 5. That 5 is tough.
All right.
So,
I like it. What's your next question for me?
next question. With all so now the game is definitely changing just because of NIL.
Yep.
Do you like it? Do you not like it? How is it like? I know you see a difference because now it's really a big difference. I think the southern schools are starting to have more of an advantage
Oh yeah.
of on getting those big time athletes. Um, a couple on the West Coast. So I just want to know how do you feel and what's your thought on this?
I think NIL, if done right, could be a good thing. I think that in industry, when the NCAA says that they are a nonprofit and they make billions of dollars off of your backs, and so many don't make it in the case of basketball, so many don't make it in the WNBA or WNBA or even overseas. So to know that to a lot of people, your name on the back of a jersey in college is your only time to make money playing the sport. So I think it's a detriment to not give that opportunity, especially when the NCAA wouldn't exist without things like the NCAA tournament. So I think there has to be something. I think there has to be rules. There's no rules and regulations. And when there's no rules and regulations, anything can happen. What I don't like about it is I don't like what it can do to a team. Like let's say one of your Binghamton teammates and you are going after the same car company and the car company chooses you. Okay, now y'all are in practice and there's that beef underneath everything. And you got the money, he didn't get the money. So now he doesn't want to pass you the ball. Now you guys don't want to help each other out. So I mean, I think there's that part of it. I don't like the recruiting part of it. I don't like the whole Nobody knew that NIL was going to be used in the transfer portal. Nobody knew people were going to buy players. It's like, you got to be an idiot to not know that.
Yeah.
And you talk about the South, and I mean, who was already strong before this? The South. Who was already who was already grabbing the recruits? The South, especially when it comes to football. So NIL and the transfer portal, as I had in my mind years ago, they made the haves have more and the have-nots have less. So it widened the gap. It didn't help anything out in between. And down south, where you got boosters with a ton of money, you go down to Alabama and they could offer you $1 million. You go to Wyoming, they could offer you 10,000. So, I don't like the discrepancy. I don't like the lack of rules and regulations. I don't like that it's used in the transfer portal and in recruiting in general. But I do believe that student athletes should get something, because it's not fair that the overwhelming majority will never play the game again and you don't have a chance to make $1 off of that. That's not fair.
Yeah.
So that's how I look at it. Let me see here for you. All right, Sai. There's some things we haven't talked about before. So if you and I, so you're going to take me on a musical tour. You and I jump on the bus. We're going to go on tour with 3 different groups and or singers. My music is all over the place. So I don't think you can offend me unless you want some type of punk rock screaming in my face type of stuff. But where are you taking us? We're going to go on 3 different tour buses. Who are we touring with and why?
All right, now this is all right. I gotta nitpick this question now.
Okay.
So we're going on tour, but like, are like we having like a kind of relationship with these artists, or like, are we just going on tour listening to their music?
No, we're working with them in some way.
Oh, all right. This is easy now. All right. Jay-Z for sure.
Okay.
Uh, I gotta throw a woman artist in there just because I have so much love for women. I'll go Beyonce just because I grew up on her.
Okay.
All right, so Jay-Z, Beyonce. So you said 3?
3. Yep.
All right, so Jay-Z, Beyonce, and my favorite artist right now is Lil Durk. So those 3.
Okay. All right. I can roll with that. See, so I grew up on Bad Boy Records. So
Okay.
I would want to go, still to this day, because I love Mace. I want to be able to come out on stage to either Feel So Good or More Money, More Problems. And when they come out with those, like, the Pop-Tart looking jackets and stuff where it looks like the wrapping of a Pop-Tart. And when they just, I want to come out to that. I want to be able to come out with Mace to that. If I could do that'd be a good birthday gift for me, is to have some time with Mace on stage. So I would do that for sure. All right, let me think here. So that's okay. So what's your last one for me then?
My last one. All right. Just because of what I said. So I have 3 older sisters, and they all play basketball. And that's the reason why I've gotten to the game of basketball. So I watch women basketball. I've probably went to probably half of Syracuse women's basketball games. Where and this year was incredible for as far as WNCAA college basketball. Where do you see it going somewhere? Because a lot of people talk about like it's not exciting just because of which I get that, but at the same time it is. And
Yeah.
my question is now, so it's probably a little bit more than just one question, but
Yeah.
people say they don't like to watch it just because of the excitement, the trash talk. Women aren't um able to do what men are able to do in sports, but it kind of turned this year in women college basketball. If you saw LSU, and
Yeah, I saw the game.
there was a lot of entertainment and trash talk, and just because I feel like that it's a woman doing it, and
Yeah.
especially I feel like because I don't you saw the narrative of Caitlyn and what happened and what my I guess my big question is what like do you like it? Do you not like it? Where do you see it going? Is it going somewhere? Um, and why was it such a big
Kind of
kind of
discussion
discussion
on.
on what Caitlyn did versus what other players on LSU did?
Yeah, well, I appreciate the question. I can answer it by saying I've been covering women's athletics and women's basketball since I started my career. So I was doing it almost 20 years ago when it wasn't popular or like politically correct. So, I mean, I started covering women's basketball when I started broadcasting in 2003, in November, at Marywood University. So, and I told them, I said, we're either doing women's and men's basketball games or I'm not doing it. I'm not coming here and doing a men's game. I'm not going to come set up to do a men's game during a women's game because most of them were double headers. I said, I'm not going to come in here, do the men's basketball game, and not do the women's game and disrespect them like that. I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
So, and I took big offense when I went back to my alma mater and there was a night where they weren't doing a women's game and I was literally like, and this is years removed, I was like, turn the mic on, I'll do it. Like, you're not going to sit here and not do the game. So I would say I love women's basketball. I love women's athletics. I mean, we've covered the gamut on the show. I mean, you name it, we've probably done it. And I think I would have lost so many good relationships and bonds with people if I didn't cover women's sports. I think sports are sports. I like watching women play. I like watching men play. I I don't know why people are so hard on women's athletics, and I think if you didn't watch the basketball games this year, you missed. And I said this over and over. I put it out on social media. You didn't miss good women's basketball. You missed great basketball. Period. You didn't miss women's basketball. You missed great basketball because there were games that were played in this women's NCAA tournament this year that I would put up against the men's. I would put the national championship game above the men's national championship game this year. So, do I think it's going somewhere? I hope so. Do I think it's good? Absolutely. Do I think the women are talented? Incredibly. I mean, Angel, Caitlin, my gosh. I mean, watching some of these people play, it's. I mean, I don't know if I've seen anybody shoot like Caitlin Clark, and I don't like that they compare her to Steph. I want her to be Caitlin. That's what I
yeah,
want. And the trash talk, my response was men do it all the time. Men do it all the time.
yep,
So if a man can do it, why can't a woman do it? Like, why is it disrespectful? Now, I'm going to tell you something, Cy, and I want you to be honest with me on this. So Caitlyn did a little bit of this, right? And she'll do it to the crowd and do it to whatever. Angel, like, and I spoke with Katie Kalinsky about this on the show. Angel, like, followed her and was like this. And I'm going to tell you straight up, I'm a peaceful man. If you're on a court with me and I'm losing the championship and the time is ticking off and you're doing this to me while there's like 20 seconds left, you're going to have to come get me from killing that person because there's no way you're going to do this to me in the championship game. No. So I'm going to say Angel, as Katie Kalinsky said, Angel had some weird energy in that. Like, go celebrate with your team. Don't be doing that to Caitlin. But so
yeah,
I think there's levels, but I didn't see it as a race thing. I saw it as men versus women, and I think
yeah,
women should be able to celebrate the way they want to, and men should be able to celebrate the way they want to, respectfully,
yeah.
respectfully,
So
because
I
there's
thought,
there's a way to do it, and you would be lying to me, Cy. And let's say you're in the national championship, right? And let's say you're playing Duke in the championship and and one of those guys came up to you, national championship Duke Syracuse, and he's like this as the time's ticking down. Yeah, I think all of us would blow up at that point.
yeah, I'd have definitely handled it different if I was Caitlyn. But I feel like that, yeah, that was probably probably the best and worst uh trash talking moments
Yeah.
in sports.
But I
But
thought, I mean, I thought, but I do think women should be allowed to trash talk
yeah, for sure,
because men literally do it all the time.
all the time, all the
So,
time,
so
all the time.
my final.
Uh,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, I was just saying, like, yeah, men do all the time. Like, we have Kevin Garnett is probably one of the biggest trash talkers of NBA's all time. Um, but I was gonna go back to what you said about Angie, and and her and what she did. I feel like it was disrespectful, but at the same time, if people really watched her games the whole season, she was doing it the whole entire year.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't just that game, and that game was obviously the championship game because it was the biggest game, it was biggest game of her career. But I felt like she was like I gave her more respect because she kept doing it and she didn't care what anybody said. So I kind of yeah, if if it was me, then I probably wouldn't respect it because it was towards me, but like at the same time, like you got it, like you know what I'm saying. Like it's just
It's
like
her
all right,
personality. It's like
yeah,
Draymond.
it is,
If Draymond
yeah,
is on your team, he's your junkyard dog. But if he's not on your team, you want to kill him. Like that. That's just how it is. I mean, because he gets in your head, and so I mean, in that respect for Angel, I mean, if that's who she is, and that's her persona, and that's who she wants to be, then like you said, I mean, that's who she is. Would I, like I would be the teammate that would come over to her and be like, all right, that's enough. Like, come on, let's go celebrate. So like that would be me. But
I don't know. It's a championship game. I think your emotions are just all over the place.
oh yeah,
So
I know what my parents would say to me. I know if I trash talked at all, if I did this, if I did this, like if I did any of that and they caught it on camera, my parents would say, I know you're excited, I know you're happy, but you need to go to that podium and apologize because we raised you better. Like I know my parents would say, don't gloat because they've always been that way. Like don't have an ego, don't gloat.
yeah, for sure.
So yeah, but did I love the game? Yeah. Was it heated? Yeah. Do I think they're both incredible players? Yeah. Do I want to see them do it again? Yeah. So I mean, but it's
I think it'll be a very different outcome now, especially because of who they got in the transfer portal. I think LSU is probably uh they're the favorite to win it again.
yeah, because I mean, that's the thing about the transfer portal though. So let me hit you with this then. Coming off of this final question, okay, how would you describe yourself as a trash talker, and who trash talked you the most so far in your college career? Who is that player that you're like, yo, man, just shut your mouth?
Funny. How do I describe my? I see. I used to be if you the people that like have grew up with me and see me play in high school. I used to be a trash talker. I used to start it. I didn't care if you were uh on the bench or against me in the game. Like I'm just talking.
Yeah.
Because it gets me going and it gets my teammates going. So when back then I had to say something or it just didn't feel real. So for right now, I'm not as big as I was, but I feel like if I like get like a big bucket or a flashy move or somebody dunks on somebody, I think that's what will get me going. Um, but this year, sorry, that Bryant game was heavy.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh was heavy at home. Trying to think, Miami we weren't really talking. Were we talking at Duke? I don't think we were. It'd probably have to go. It'd probably have to be at Marquette because I feel like, especially this past year, we had like my guys. We had a lot of trash talkers, but like I feel like there was nobody that could. There was no other opponent that could back it up.
Yeah.
So I feel like we would win the trash talk competition, regardless of us losing or winning. Like we were the type of team that was trash talking if we were down 20. Like we just gonna say something, we just gonna keep competing. That's just how it was. So I feel like at that level, I feel like our last season of Syracuse, the players, I feel like we were the best at that. Whether down or up, and it sounds crazy, but that's just how it was. Marquette, I would probably have to do. Yeah, it would probably be the C. Yeah, either the Seton Hall game when my freshman year when I had Marcus Howard and they had Miles Powell. That was a big conversation who was better. And they had some players on their team. And we had some players on our team. I think that game was heavy talkative. Either that or I'm trying to think. What close? Probably Xavier.
Okay.
Xavier as well. Freshman or sophomore. That was just always a good game. So yeah.
All right, fair enough. I like it, but appreciate it. Trash talk. We end it with trash talk. So so we'll see what it looks like this time around with Cy. But no, dude, I you know that I'm very very happy for you. Very excited. I feel spoiled that when you transferred the first time, you know, I could talk to you right away, and now this one, same thing. So I will see you down in Binghamton, and I support Binghamton. I like Binghamton. I would proudly wear a Bearcat, but now because of you, it makes it even more so something that I want to do. So I mean, listen, I am very spoiled because when you were transferring out, I mean, you could go anywhere, and you know you don't know where someone's going to end up. The fact that you're going to end up at Binghamton for me personally is like a gift. So I'm really excited about what you're going to do. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for your family. And I'm just looking forward to seeing you prove yourself right, like you said.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
That coming from Symir Torrence. Cy, as always, good talking with you, and I'll talk with you soon.
Yes, sir.
All right, take care. That coming from Symir Torrence here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of this fantastic opportunity to speak with you here today. We have two great guests coming up in hour number 2 as we remember our good friend Fred Reed. So coming up here momentarily is going to be Joe Adam on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and then later on in hour number 2 we will have Bobby Acosta joining us as well. So we're going to take a quick step aside and get Joe all set up here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets
recording in progress.
So we'll take a quick fast break, and then we'll come back with Joe Adam right after this on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Thank you so much for being with us here this morning, and always. So Joe Adam coming up next right after this.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have at any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Happy to be here with you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And I'm always honored and privileged to have my next guest up here with me, and that is Joe Adam joining me here. Joe and I met years ago at Syracuse when he was the offensive line coach under Scott Schaefer, and now I have the opportunity to bring him in once again. St. Anselm Hawks, the team is coming off of success this past season, and you see in the win-loss column, but Joe and I both know that success doesn't come from a season, it comes from building it piece by piece, brick by brick. So with that being said, Mr. Adam, how we doing?
Dan, great, man. Great to see you again this morning.
Yeah, great to have you here. I appreciate your patience this morning as we got going with Symir Torrence. So speaking on building success, that this past season was a long time coming, seasons in the making. Would love to get your thoughts on that and how you got to where you are with St. Anselm and the excitement going into this upcoming season.
Yeah, we just capped off a great spring football season. The guys were really locked in. Normally in a spring, as you get going, you may have a little bit of lull somewhere in the middle, and kudos to the guys. Their professionalism, their attitude, their mental approach was fantastic. And I think that comes from a belief that we can get some things done here. So I did a little exercise last night with our team about where we think our team is and what one word describes that. And, the results were extremely positive of where we are right now. So it's a long time coming. We have goals and aspirations, and I just kind of challenge everybody about not really what the goals are per se, but what's going to be your mission in the next 90 days to get us to where we want to get to as a team, this upcoming season.
And when you say that, when you challenge the guys to kind of think about their mission and their hope and what they want to achieve, what have you heard from them? What is the response when you ask those questions?
I think they're together. Their mindset is very similar. They're a gritty bunch of kids. They probably at some point, because we're not the powerhouse here, they've been told they're not good enough. They have a chip on their shoulder, as do I. And, I think we kind of share that common bond. So we're going to do everything we can to put ourselves in place to compete for the championship in this league. And then when we get to the games, we're going to do our very best and let the chips fall where they may.
What can you say about the league? How would you describe it?
It's been great. I mean, there's it's really competitive week in, week out. You're going to face teams that have a ton of transfer students on their roster. You're going to face teams that have homegrown talent and a little mixture of both. So, for the most part, they're really, really well coached. They're really talented groups, and I'm just excited to get on the field this fall and see what we got.
So you look at this, building of success, and building of success takes time. A lot of coaches in today's day and age in your profession, they don't get time, right? And so you have been the head coach of this St. Anselm program for many years now. It's unheard of at any division, any level, that a coach is the same coach the next year, and then the next year, and then 3 years down the road, 4 years down the road. So why do you feel that St. Anselm has invested in you and you invested in them? Why has this relationship been a strong one in a world where coaches get changed like underwear? Why is Joe Adams still at St. Anselm?
Probably the biggest two words is Darren Montgomery. And Darren is our athletic director. He is a hands-off type of guy. He has tasked me with building this program, increasing the enrollment, which we have. We've doubled our team size since I've been here. Our GPA has gone up. Our academic deficiencies have gone down. Our culture has been placed. He's a progressive guy. He's a go-getter. Does not stand for average. And he is the biggest reason why I'm having success and why my quality of life is good. And so I think I'm pretty competent in my coaching ability after doing this for 27 years. I just want to put our plan together. And, it starts with him and then emanates to the top and our president and some of the people in our senior leadership team. So my quality of life has been good. I don't want to live right now the NIL craziness that all my buddies are living.
Yeah.
And where it is win now, and so there are discrepancies in Division I football, and I think they're in the midst of working some of those things out.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, when you look at NIL and the transfer portal, Symir Torrence and I were just discussing it in the first conversation this morning on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. How do you look at it? Because, I mean, at the Division II level, I mean, it's there. It can be there. But what are your thoughts? Because it seems like, and I said anybody who thought that NIL was not going to be used as a recruiting tool to lure free agents in the transfer portal was out of their mind. And so without rules and regulations, we are essentially seeing players be bought, signed, and treated like professionals. How do you view NIL in the transfer portal? Because I do think student athletes should have something and should have an avenue, because so many student athletes will never play the game again professionally. So the only time they have to make money playing the game that they love is right now in college. So in that argument, I see that NIL could be a good thing. But I also see that NIL has become just, jump into the portal. I'm going to offer you 10 grand. They're going to offer you 5. Come play for me. It's not about the coach. It's not about the culture. It's not about the academic side of things. It's not about the degree. It's about they offered me 10, you offered me 5. So I wanted to get your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I mean, the horse is out of the barn, man. So, like, the NIL is here to stay. The NCAA has to have some kind of parameters, whether it's they kind of just punted it and kicked it down the road. And so there has to be some framework of what this is going to look like, some equity on both sides of the table. The NFL has a model, right? And so I think what happens is it devalues legacies, right? And I think of like Syracuse, man. I mean, you think of Ernie Davis, right? You think of all the greats that have been there, and that was like the lore. That was the one of the reasons why kids would go, right? Is this legacy of great players and guys that achieved things. And now it's about, not who's coaching me, but where can I get the biggest whatever deal? And so, I don't blame the kids. It's how this thing was set up. And so, there's some disparity on both sides of the table that need to have some regulations to it.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. I do want to say this before we get into something very special to all of us. I've asked you this question before, but DeAndre Smith, Joe Adam, myself, who has the better goatee, since we all rock a very similar one?
Well, I mean, I don't ever want to go against DeAndre in any part of either fashion, looks, or anything like that. All right, so like that dude's the man. All right, we're all trying to ascend to his level. No offense to you, Dan, but DeAndre's he's at a different level, man. He's like out in space. We're on Earth. That's how it's living right now.
I told D, because D came up to me years ago. He's like, "You got a little gray coming in here." I was like, "You got a little gray in there too." And he's like, "I'm older." And I said, "And I dated more crazy women than you did, apparently." So, but now D's with the Colts, and I told him, I said, because he came to Jacksonville with the Giants last year, so we met up, got to hang out, and he finally got me my Giants gear. I had to actually physically see him in Jacksonville, but he's with the Colts now, and I said, now I got to see you. I got to see you every year now, seriously. So I'm kind of spoiled that I get to see D. But, you know, we talk about these friendships. Bobby Acosta is going to be coming up in a few minutes. I talk about DeAndre. You know, obviously you're here, Joe, and the list can go on. Chuck Bullock, Clark Lee, you know, Tim Lester, Tim Doust, and so on and so forth. Scott Schaefer, and, you know, Fred Reed is a part of all that. And Fred, it seems like a million years ago, and at the same time it feels like it happened yesterday. That it was around 11 o'clock, a little bit after 11, I was laying in bed, and I checked something on my phone. And I remember just sitting up in bed looking at my phone, and I went, no. I was like, this can't be real. And I was looking up stuff, saw a couple different places post about it. I slid off I literally got off my bed, slid to the floor, turned around, and just started crying. It was Mother's Day, and Fred Reed had passed away. And it was heartbreaking. It was a giant reminder of time's preciousness and why on holidays I take the time to text as many people as I can that I care about, because the last message I sent to him was Happy Easter, which was a month before. So, you know, we're remembering Fred here, and you had sent me a text message, I hope you're having a whiskey or a cigar in honor of Fred. And, you know, life is precious. And I mean, I'm going to open the door for you because you spent so much more time with him. I love him and I care about him. And he will always be a friend to me. And I look forward to seeing him in heaven someday. You were with him daily. So I would love for you to give your thoughts.
Yeah, you know, Fred, I sent that message to a number of guys. And so, I got a chance to see DeAndre and some of the guys last year. Just after this time, we all went to Eastern Michigan, and they did a great job of honoring him. I know his family, you know, and some of the people that are surrounding that program and his children. You know, I learned this from one of the parishioners in my church, and it really, really stuck with me over this past, really probably year and a half. And she said that, you know, people die twice. They die when they leave this earth, and they die a second time when you stop talking about them.
Yeah.
And I felt really a conviction about how Fred lived his life and the person that he was and the person that I knew him to be. And, you know, I really challenged the guys and really challenged myself to not let that memory go away, you know, and not let the remembrance of the person that he was and the lives that he impacted vanish. And so, you know, from time to time, I really thank you, man, for having us all on. And I watched that recording every so often with Fred and Tim and Bobby and DeAndre. And, you know, and that's what life is about, man. Like, it's about the impact and the legacy that we're able to lead in people's lives, and that they remember that we did some great things. And I will always remember Fred for that, for the kind person that he was, and the impact that he left, both on his peers, on his teams that he coached, and on his family. And so, yeah, I feel like I'd be doing a disservice if I didn't acknowledge him, especially on the day where he passed away. And you know, and that's kind of how I felt about the thing.
Yeah, you know, and that, you know, you go back and you look at that, and I mean, of all the people that have been on the show and all the things that I do, and you know, trying to schedule and make sure I get you all in, and always making sure if you're on the show before, then you'll be on the show again. And every year having you and having Fred, you know, throughout those years, and and having Bobby and having DeAndre and Tim Lester and so on and so forth. It's been so important to me, but never do you think in a million years when you set up that reunion on the screen that one of those faces is not going to show up the next year. And so, like I said, it brings that reality to me of, because I text you and, I'll shoot a message to you and I mean what I say and I say what I mean. And I only say the words "I love you" in the same sentence if I mean it, and I send that to you. So, it'll just be a day, it'll be walking, it could be Tuesday at 4 o'clock. I love you, Joe, because I want you to know that. And you've been there for me in so many ways. And I don't know if I've bothered you with my phone calls and when we talked at 11 o'clock at night, but
not at all.
I think people need to know, like, you've been an angel in my life, and you've carried me in ways that I needed at that time. I still remember one of the phone calls I made to you, and I needed to hear that. I needed to hear that tough love. I needed to hear that you're going to be all right. I needed to hear that jump into the Bible, learn some scripture, get your faith right. Like, so, I think the best way of honoring Fred is honoring friendship and thanking you for being the type of friend that I've always needed.
I appreciate that, man. And I learned from some of the best, man. And there's people like yourself that impact my life. So again, with a bigger faith theme, that's what we're doing. Like, none of this material stuff matters, man.
No.
You know what I mean? When you really boil it down, none of it matters. What matters is the relationships that you have with people that are close in your circle. And at least that's what I believe.
Yeah, it is. I said to my dad yesterday, I go, I got to stop caring if people give me credit. I got to stop caring if people take my stuff. I got to stop caring if what people think about me and this and that don't know me. And my dad looked at me and he goes, yeah, that's what I've been telling you for years. Stop thinking about everybody else and start, understanding who you are. Focus on what matters. And, so I will take that with me. I know we had a few minutes here today. I'll have you back again soon, but I love you and I appreciate you. And now that Lemoyne is leaving the NE10, I know they never played you in football, but now that they're leaving the NE10, I could say my favorite NE10 school is St. Anselm.
There you go. I gotta send you more gear now. Free gear for that one, man.
Let's go. Give me my Hawks gear. Let's go. So I said, I was like,
appreciate you.
I really thought about that though. As soon as when I woke up this morning, I said, St. Anselm could be my favorite team now. This is good.
It should be. It's a lot of people's favorite team here in New England. So we're winning fans one at a time.
I love it. Well, as always, Joe, I appreciate it. I know you got to get hopping, but we'll talk soon.
All right, bud. Have a great day.
You too. God bless.
All right. God bless.
That coming once again from Joe Adam here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. We're going to get set here with Bobby Acosta coming up on the broadcast here as well. And so excited to have Bobby joining us where sports meets life on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora to speak about his new opportunity at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. And so much looking forward to speaking with him on that, as well as remembering
recording
Fred
in
Reed
progress
through his heart
recording
and his
stopped
mind, as well as he spent so much time with Fred. So very, very excited to have Bobby be joining us momentarily here and looking forward to having him on the show. So a lot of good stuff coming up and definitely looking forward to having that conversation continue. I want to thank Joe Adam for everything that he, brings as well and all the love and positivity because Joe's a wonderful human being and so is Bobby and like Joe talked about, we were all on that screen together just a little bit ago. And it's moments like that mean the world. So Bobby Acosta joining us here in a second, picture in picture. And so very happy, like I said, for Bobby and for his new opportunity back into the college world. Spent some time in the college world, went into the IMG Academy world, and then off to Texas in that high school world and whatnot. And now we have him at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. And I'm so happy to have him here with me. Picture in picture, Mr. Acosta. How we doing?
Hey, how you doing, Dan? How's everything?
I'm doing
Thank
really
you for
well.
having me.
I got to tell you, man, I like that. I like that logo on you. I could get used to it.
Oh yeah, I definitely I definitely have to get you gear. I don't forget. It's just I haven't gotten to it. So
yeah, if you can get it to me within a few weeks' time, you'll beat DeAndre by like 7 years. So
well, did you get Giant stuff from DeAndre?
I did.
Did you get his stuff from? Oh wow, wow.
I did. And how I got it was I've covered Jacksonville for like 12, 13 years now. So the Giants came down to Jacksonville. So he had no excuse because the bus was there. So when we met up in Jacksonville, he went and got the gear off the bus and handed it to me. So wow. I still had to go get it in a way.
There you go. Wow.
So
yeah, he called me. He called me a couple weeks ago, and he's loving coaching in the NFL. You know, and he has a great player also, or he has great players. So he's doing very well.
Yeah, he's doing good, and everything's going well. And you're at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff now. And what I love about this is having you back in the college world. How did it all come about? How did this new opportunity present itself?
Well, I was coaching in Texas high school football. You know, people would say the mecca of high school football, but you kind of travel and you find new places and you find a new niche. Yeah. Coach Hampton, we actually, when we were at Syracuse, he actually was the DBs coach for South Florida. When we went down there, we lost. Yeah. And I was the receivers coach. So back then we were going against each other already, you know, but I met him officially when I was at IMG. I was actually looking to bring his son. And I was actually interviewing Coach Hampton for our DB spot. I was trying to get him into that mix also. So, you know, we've talked a couple of times, but I wasn't on his list. He was actually going to hire a friend of mine, and he actually turned down the job. And my buddy said, you know, call Bobby Acosta. You know, I've learned a lot from him, and I think you'll be great. He'll be great for the situation. And Coach Hampton called me up, and I said, yeah, let me look into it. But, you know, I went to his press conference, and, you know, I was still on the borderline. You know, I was like, you know, I have a humongous program in Texas that I can build. Yeah. But his press conference won me over. You know, his vision, his passion, his enthusiasm. I said, that's me. That's another spitting image of me. So I did it. I took the jump, and I'm loving life right now.
Yeah, because, I mean, to go to this school, I mean, it was something that I didn't know if you had a connection there and whatnot. So, I mean, what have you learned about the community? I know you love to recruit and you love to go on the road. So what's it been like to be around Arkansas Pine Bluff? How would you describe the atmosphere and the environment there?
Oh, the atmosphere is the other reason why I took the job. I remember at the press conference, the band was there. And you know me, I don't have much rhythm, and they put rhythm in my heart. Yeah. And just our junior day, you know, the support that we have there from the community. You know, you can walk into the local store and they're like, you're one of the coaches for Arkansas Pine Bluff. You know, we're recruiting the state of Arkansas right now, and there's so much passion. The people are here are great. The kids, the talent level is as good as Texas, you know, anywhere in the country. And we're having a blast doing what we're doing right now.
Yeah, you know, and for you, I mean, your recruiting area, I know what you did when you were up at Syracuse. Where's the area now? And, like, where's kind of your focus as a recruiter?
Well, I have the local area in Arkansas, maybe about 20 miles away from the school. But right now, today, I'm going to see the best offensive players in Arkansas. But then I also have a part of Texas, from Dallas to Austin, Texas, where that's still, you know, it feels like it's home. It's still in state. Yeah. So my big focus is, you know, even the portal, you know, that's a recruiting area now. So the portal, you know, the local Central Arkansas and Central Texas.
So for you, like you said, going out there and finding the best offensive players, you're an offensive coordinator and a quarterback's coach now. How much fun is that for you to have the quarterback position and at the same time to oversee the entire offense? I mean, you get to make you're one of the head coaches under the head coach when it comes to offensively. You're that offensive head coach. So what can you say about your vision and your excitement? Because now you get to be the scientist, right? You get to put it all together.
Yeah, in 20 plus years, you develop a system, and you kind of refine the system with each stop that you go to. What worked at IMG may not work here. What worked at Syracuse may not work here. So you kind of have to identify the fingerprint of your team, of your offense. Your coaching staff makes a huge thing. If he's not an inside zone teacher, we may run a little more mid zone. But I love coaching offensive football. That's one thing that took me away from the high school game because I was more of an administrator rather than a football coach. So I have an opportunity, and Coach Hampton comes in my office at 10 o'clock at night, and I'm listening to George McDonald on a webinar. I'm listening to Phil Longo, Noel Mazzoni. I get to do football 24 hours a day. But the biggest thing for me is interacting with our players. I think there's a perception of Pine Bluff, but you have to come here and really experience what our players are about in the community. 5-star character all over the place. We had 6 o'clock a.m. mornings. We didn't have one kid miss.
Yeah.
Academically, our quarterback room is a 3.5. So, once you have that character, you start enhancing their personal growth. That's when you start winning those big games.
And for you in the SWAC, how would you describe the conference and what excitement that brings when we're looking at FCS football?
Well, I think the first thing is, what you kind of see what Deion Sanders did with the SWAC. I personally think we have the best football players in the country, in FCS football. You kind of have to look at, we're going to open up a Tulsa, so we have to really get our guys ready for a Power 5 team, or FBS team. So we're going to play the big games. Our SWAC conference is very competitive. Any team can win it at any year. So we have to really develop that mindset that we want to win a national championship here. So football is football at the end of the day. Players win the games. The schemes are overrated, like Coach Schaefer used to say. And we just got to get our guys to play every weekend.
Back in 2012, the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff's football team were HBCU national champions. What does that mean to you?
It's something that's the standard. That's what we're chasing. The first thing I do usually when I get to a new place, I look at the history. And then you start defining what your goals are going to be for your time at that place. And I look at the wall, the team that won the national championship. I said, we have the things that we need to do to get there again. We have a great coaching staff. We have a great leader. Our athletic director is super supportive of what we're doing. The administration, the president has vision on taking the college to another level. So we have a huge platform to make a huge difference in our community and in our team. So we want to win a national championship. And that's something that you put your goals, you set it high and you start chasing it every day.
You have a passion. You're always smiling when we're talking about whatever opportunity you have, wherever you're going. So why? Why are you passionate about football? Why are you passionate about coaching? Because we know that it's not easy, right? Nobody likes to losing a recruit. Nobody likes to lose a game. And, sometimes you have to move on. Sometimes you get fired. Sometimes, you take a different opportunity. You take a step in a different direction to come back to where you want to go. It's a job that you really have to love, and it's a game that you really have to love because sometimes it feels like it doesn't always love you back. So why do you love it?
Well, I'm in the profession that I can shape young minds. I can have a huge impact on kids. And my coach, my high school coach had a huge impact on me. My college coach had a huge impact on me. So, I have an opportunity every day to change a kid's life, and to be a part of their life for the next 40, 50 years.
Yeah.
And that's what excites me to wake up. I woke up at 4:30 this morning to go watch a practice at 6 a.m. That excites me because you should see when the players look at the college coach and they meet you, you can see them glow. And you can take a kid that is a 2.1 and make them a 3.1. You could take a 1-star football player and make them into a 4-star football player. you could take a kid with low character and shape him to be a 5-star character young man. And that's where, we have the ability to shape lives and change lives. And that's what really gets me up every day. We lost a recruit yesterday. And I smiled about it because I said, I can't wait for us to rebound and get the next one. So, the failures that we have in this profession, the fact that we can get fired for not winning really motivates me because I continue to grow. My growth from the days of Syracuse, I remember I was crying like a baby when we got fired. You remember that? But I've grown so much from that experience. And I don't see getting fired or failing as a losing mentality. I see it as an opportunity to grow. And that's what I pour into our kids every day.
And I love that. I tell people all the time, I've chased my dreams my whole life. So in my opinion, I haven't failed. Because how do you fail going after what you want? Yep. And, you talk about those opportunities to grow. We speak on positivity. And before I let you go, here with Bobby Acosta, University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. Fred Reed, we've all over the years come to know Fred. And Joe Adam just reminded me a little bit ago here because he tells me he goes back and he'll watch that video all the time of all of us on the screen. And when I set that up to have a reunion of the Syracuse staff that I have loved and appreciated for such a long time, I mean, I still keep in touch with you guys, and very, very purposeful and very meaningful for me. I never thought in a million years that anybody on that screen wouldn't be on the screen right now. And so with Fred, I'd love for you to share your thoughts on him because, you talk about crying. I remember point by point. I just described it with Joe. I remember that night, and it can make me cry again. So I'd love to get your thoughts about Fred.
It's this is how we connected, and this is, what we wanted to talk about today. I went back and watched that video yesterday, and I'm like, boy, how fast things could change. Yeah. And, it hurts still, but I think Joe Adams texted me the other day and said, hey, Bobby, we can't forget Fred. We gotta, continue to talk about him. And he said he called his wife the other day, and I'm like, Mother's Day, he was taken from us. Yeah. It still hurts. It does hurt. I don't talk to many people about it. I'm a very reserved. I don't share a lot of things, but I was so happy that you reached out to talk about Fred today because he's had a huge impact in my life. When I was fired from a job, the first phone call was from Fred. He called his head football coach and said, hey, you got to hire Bobby Acosta. Fred had a calming effect on people. He was one of those guys that would just kind of blend in, but his passion and his influence on people would be huge. Yeah. And, you have friends. I have my best friend, George McDonald, and you have your family. I have my best friend down in Texas. But, Fred is a person I think about every single day. Every single day. And you just see flashes of our memories. And he had a huge impact on me in Syracuse because I was a brand new coach to the Power 5 football world. I didn't know what I was doing. But Fred would take me in his office and just mentor me and talk to me. And, after we got fired, all of us grew closer. And so it definitely hurts the fact that he's not here, but he is here. He's watching us right now talking about it. Yeah. But the memories is something. He left a legacy. And, I appreciate you calling me and wanting to do this today because you got to get this out, right?
Yeah. And it's the thing about it, I mean, and when Joe texted me on the day that Fred passed away too, and he said, you got to have a cigar or whiskey today because we can't forget them. And and you just said something paralleling what Joe had said, which is, they say people die twice. They die when they pass away, and they die if you stop talking about them.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And to me, with Fred, when I'm sending those messages, happy, Merry Christmas or Happy Birthday or Happy Easter, whatever, I'm always with family or with loved ones that day, and then I'll take time out and I'll just go sit by myself. And I remember that year, I was dating someone, and I spent time with her, and on that Easter, I had went down to visit her in Pennsylvania, and she had fallen, she was asleep, whatever. I'm just out there doing stuff, and I just sat in a room, and I spent an hour, and I tried to text as many people as I could that I love and I care about and I appreciate, and it was the last message that I sent to Fred was Happy Easter, and he sent back to me, Happy Easter to you. And I think about it, and you think about those moments, and you say to yourself, like, is it worth it? Is it worth staying up late? Is it worth being tired the next day just to make sure you reach out to all these people that you love and say Happy Easter? If I didn't sit there for that hour that day, go through my phone and reach out to the people that I care about, I would have never heard from them that day. And that was the last time I talked to him.
Well, and I told you last night, we were talking about 12:30 at night, and I have to do a better job with that. I woke up this morning. I was supposed to meet with Coach McDonald last night, and we couldn't link up. So I texted him early this morning, George, how you doing? It's like, you never know.
Yeah.
And you really, we live a very busy life. Like right now I'm recruiting, but I thought this was the most important thing that I needed to do right now. And, the connection that you have with your friends, your family, you have to cherish it. You can't live in the world that you work all the time and you forget the people that love you. And, this definitely, it's not closure for me, but there's a hurt in my heart that I've never talked about. And talking about it today is really helping me out. So, for the group of guys that we came on last time, those are great memories that, in this digital world, you can watch for the rest of your life now.
Yeah.
And, I really hope when my time is done, people really appreciate what I've done. And like the way that I feel towards Fred Reed, he's a life changer. He's influenced me to be a great leader, a great dad, a great mentor, so I carry a lot from Fred in me every single day.
Yeah, and the ththing is, when are we doing that next video is how I look at it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But Bobby, I know, like you said, you had a few minutes today, and I appreciate you spending it in those very kind words that you just gave about, the importance of being here. I know you gotta get recruiting, and I know you're in the car, and I know you got a busy day, but thank you for sharing your heart, and thank you for spending time with me, and and taking my phone call over these last couple of years and reconnecting, because I had said to myself for a long time after you left Syracuse, I was like, I want to talk with Bobby. I want to see how he's doing. And it took a while to reconnect. And I said, I'm going to keep trying because I want him to know I care about him. And when you finally, responded and we've gotten to connect over these last couple of years, it really does warm my heart, and I appreciate it very much so.
Well, I appreciate you too. And, let's definitely, let's set up that next group phone call.
Yeah, we definitely.
And, we can share our experiences every time we get together.
Absolutely. So thank you for all that you do, and thank you for caring about people the way that you do, and for fighting the way that you fight. You're one of the people I always root for. So I appreciate you, Bobby, and I appreciate your friendship, and I know Fred would be proud today hearing you talk so highly of him.
Very good. Yeah. Well, let's send a prayer later for Fred and his family, and for all the guys that we're close to, and life is too short. So.
Absolutely. So we'll make sure.
All right.
I'll send that prayer up. Right. Get recruiting. I look forward to you getting the next guy, and I'll talk with you soon.
Very good. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Bobby. Appreciate it. Take care.
Bye.
That coming here from Bobby Acosta one more time on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. We're going to take a step aside for a fast break as we remember a friend, Fred Reed, today and always. We'll be back after this. Thank you so much for tuning in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We love you, Fred, and we miss you. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout Central and Upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. This is a special message from 317 at Montgomery restaurant owner Joel Carpenter. Open Tuesday through Saturday for your dining pleasure on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York.
We wanted to be a part of the resurgence of Syracuse. We saw a lot of money being put into bringing people back downtown and thought that, we'd like to be a part of that. I love putting together a good dish where people see it first, they fall in love with it, and then it tastes just as good as it looks. We want to provide the best food in Syracuse that we possibly can, and we want you to leave here talking to your family, your friends about what you had to eat first and foremost, but also our service, and to walk out feeling like you're part of our family. I work out in the front of the house a lot, and I love walking to every single table, asking them how everything is, and people looking at me and smiling and saying, this is the most amazing short rib I've ever had. This is the most amazing filet I've ever had. And Donna is great. Sarah's amazing. Thank you for coming over and talking to us. And them just being truly happy for the experience that they've gotten.
317 at Montgomery Restaurant, part of the fabric of downtown Syracuse, located on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York. Open Tuesday through Saturday for a unique and memorable dining experience. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of our fantastic week of broadcasts here for you, and always connected to Ma and Pa's Popcorn.com's What's Poppin'. Make sure you go to Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory on 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. It is the place for you to be all throughout the week. And if you get any size tin that they have, you can get half-price refills for the rest of your life if you buy one of the tins inside of Ma and Pa's. So you go to Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory on 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Pick out a tin, and whichever tin you get, whatever size you get, that tin will give you half-price refills for the rest of your life. I have a Jacksonville Jaguars one, and I just got one for my niece a little while ago. And so make sure you go out there to Ma and Pa's and support local. And, of course, you'll see Ma and Pa's truck at so many different events going on in Central and Upstate New York throughout the spring and summer. So very excited for that. With that being said, I want to thank my incredible guest today. Big time thanks for Symir Torrence spending a lot of time with us, speaking on his journey, his time at Marquette, Syracuse, and now heading to the Binghamton Bearcats for his final season, going down Interstate 81 to play just an hour away from where Syracuse fans were used to seeing him play. So I expect a bunch of you to come down to Binghamton, and I'm excited to see the Torrence family and extended family out there showing love for Symir Torrence. Joe Adam and Bobby Acosta just joining me to remember our friend Fred Reed and to send our love and our prayers, our well wishes to his wife and to all of his loved ones, and to send all the best energy up to Fred, and God bless him in heaven. Wake Up Call is so proud to be here with you and be more than just a sports show for every stretch of the imagination. And so we thank you for being here with us. We thank you for spending time with us Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, and on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. However you're connecting with the show, we cannot thank you enough for being here and spending time with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Once the shows go live, they jump into the archives, and you'll be able to find us on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes and Apple Podcasts, MixLR, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, Podbean, Podvine, and Player FM, amongst others. So make sure that you make your way out to all of these wonderful avenues to connect with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. And like I said, I can't thank you enough for your support. So you can go to any one of these avenues and search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT, and find us there. Big time thanks to our incredible partners here in the community of Central and Upstate New York. Many, many thanks to Carvel DeWitt, to the Wildcat Sports Pub Mother's Cupboard, as well as Great Lakes Honda City, formerly the Honda City of Liverpool, so Great Lakes Honda City in Liverpool, New York, as right on Henry Clay Boulevard. Pizza Man, Chick-fil-A Clay and Chick-fil-A Cicero, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, 317 at Montgomery Street, Chick-fil-A Watertown, Avicoli's Canine Camp Ground Dog Boarding, Mon Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, Mother's Cupboard, and of course Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is proud to be the exclusive and PB&J's Lunchbox. And Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is proud to be the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Lemoyne College Dolphins. It's Fins Up every single month on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. You definitely want to check out everything we've put up here with the Dolphins making the decision to reclassify to Division I and join the NEC, the Northeast Conference. That is all available to you on our many, many channels. So you could go to Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, Twitter at Call DT, Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT, YouTube.com/Wake Up Call DT, and on WakeUpCallDT.com's homepage. And you will get to see everything that we've done in this move with the Lemoyne College Dolphins to Division I. We had the exclusive first on everything, and we appreciate you all being dedicated to us and everything that we've been able to do here in the community and beyond for the Lemoyne College Dolphins. So many thanks, much love, and much appreciation to every single one of you, and for all your support and your love and your positivity. I can't thank you enough for that. So however you've connected with the show, I thank you for connecting with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora and finding time in your day to be with us and following us as we chronicle the long, many months that we've had here doing exclusives with Athletics Director Bob Beretta and President Dr. Linda Lemura about reclassification and realignment, all the way up to this decision of Lemoyne choosing to go Division I and the Northeast Conference, aka the NEC, giving them an official invitation, which they signed, and I got the phone call right after the signing. So you could find our content with Lemoyne every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, with first and third Wednesday of each month being AD and DT, featuring Athletics Director Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora. Every second and fourth Wednesday, the Dolphin Dive, diving into the stories of student athletes, coaches, administration, future Dolphins, and alumni. You can get all that content by subscribing to our YouTube channel at Wake Up Call DT, and of course, by going to wakeupcalldt.com and clicking on the Lemoyne tab. As always, fins up, and for more information, go to LeMoyneDolphins.com. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is also the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of the Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse. The Bobcat Buzz comes to you monthly with unprecedented coverage of Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse, that's located right on James Street, with their men's and women's soccer teams, men's and women's basketball, and their baseball team finishing up its inaugural season. Student athletes and coaches join us for conversations inside a Bobcat Buzz that you will not find anywhere else, and we appreciate being the exclusive home for the Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse. Check out the Bobcat Buzz and all of our coverage on the BSC Syracuse tab on wakeupcalldt.com and by subscribing to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, or go to YouTube and just type in @wakeupcalldt. You'll find us there as well. Bobcat Nation, we appreciate you, and we look forward to spending many more memories with you throughout the years. Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse. For more information, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com. We'll take our final step aside here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora this morning. We'll be back to wrap things up right after this.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, you can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you? This is a special message from Merritt Brady, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Watertown on 1290 Arsenal Street in Watertown, New York.
Chick-fil-A for me has always been about the people. I think it starts with the strength and leadership of the Cathy family. It's just amazing to see a family-run business reach the altitude that they have. Second mile service is something that we embodied at my previous business, and the ability to make people feel like they're the only person at your establishment, that you are there to serve them that day and looking for those extra ways to make them happy, to anticipate what they need next is what makes me tick. And I'm going to have so many opportunities at Chick-fil-A to do that. It's one of my favorite things to eat in the world. My favorite application question or interview question when I'm interviewing is when I get to, have you ever eaten at Chick-fil-A? And a smile hits both their ears. You know, they can't even answer the question for a second. And when I see that, it's like, man, that's going to be a great hire. They already get it. They already feel it. They already know that we're different. The Chick-fil-A experience, it's a real thing. And then, of course, just our generosity and community involvement and making a positive impact in the lives of our team members, our guests, and the community in general, I think is really the secret sauce.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We appreciate you tuning in today, and we will see you for TGIF tomorrow, God willing, as of course we have our 3 signature segments. The Annoying Moment of the Week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt. Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver, presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. The Top Dog of the Week will be announced, proudly presented by Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Campground Dog Boarding, and we'll have a special Bobcat Buzz for you as well with Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse. Thank you to Bobby Acosta, Joe Adam, and Symir Torrence once again. Thanks to Ma and Paz for connecting with us, giving us the list of wonderful guests that we have every single broadcast Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And I hope you have yourselves a tremendous day. Find us on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, Twitter at Call DT, and Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. Follow our content unlike any other with Lemoyne College's move to Division I. And as always, God bless